If you're wondering why Trump's press secretary seemed even more defensive today as she bent herself into a pretzel trying to justify the idea of Trump running for a third term, because when has fascism ever cared about the Constitution?
And shame on you and shame on the mainstream media for trying to cover for these individuals.
Well, it's because earlier in the day she went on Fox News, a network notorious for lobbing Trump and his administration alleys to oop, but it didn't exactly go to plan.
And our new Fox News polling shows that people perhaps are concerned with how things are going. This is as of March 14th. Those that say they disapprove, 56%, more than half. Those who approve of the president's handling of the economy is at 43%. And in that same polling, we asked about the most important issue facing the country today. And top of the list is inflation. And the economy is number 2, and jobs. Those are first and second as it goes down to political division and preservation of democracy. Is the president doing enough to answer the needs and demands of the American voter when it comes to the economy and lowering prices?
The president and his economic team are working on this effort every single day. And the president is not only trying to fix the mess created by the previous administration's incompetence and reckless spending, he is trying to fix decades of unfair trade practices that have ripped our country off, that have sent jobs overseas, and that have forced millions of Americans out of their jobs.
Welcome to another absolute train wreck from the White House press room. This time, Trump's press secretary twists reality into knots trying to defend the indefensible. His floated idea of a third term and the sheer economic disaster unfolding under his administration, they're cornered, defensive, and unraveling in real time. The market is crashing, their trade policies are backfiring, and instead of answers, we get gaslighting and finger-pointing. Let's break down the meltdowns, spin, and outright deception as officials scramble to cover up their failures. Let's dive in.
My last review on the 31st of January, and I had the highest rating that you can get on a review, less than 21 days before I was terminated for my performance.
You voted for Donald Trump.
I did.
Trump press secretary fielded questions from reporters outside the White House today, and as reporters sought answers on issues like, is there a plan to combat the tanking market as Trump's tariffs continue to cause havoc? No answer.
It's Monday. We have another big week. On Wednesday, it will be Liberation Day in America, as President Trump has so proudly dubbed it. The cabinet will be here for the event. It'll be our first Rose Garden event of this administration. So you all will be invited to attend and cover this historic moment. The president will be announcing a tariff plan that will roll back the unfair trade practices that have been ripping off our country for decades.
Driving the auto industry into a recession. GM shares are down 5%. We're sitting around the desk looking at the declines in the automakers as President Trump is speaking.
Will farmers be exempt, considering Trump promised that he'd make their lives easier when securing their vote? Nope.
Like that, Steve.
Any exemptions for farmers being considered for these tariffs?
No exemptions at this time.
Is there any movement on holding officials accountable for one of the most egregious national security risks to date?
As you said last week, Caroline, you said there would be an investigation or a review into how Jeffrey Goldberg's number got on that group chat. What's the status of that review? And what is the status of National Security Advisor Mike Waltz?
As the president has made it very clear, Mike Waltz continues to be an important part of his national security team. And this case has been closed here at the White House as far as we are concerned. There have been steps made to ensure that something like that can obviously never happen again. And we're moving forward. And the president and Mike Waltz and his entire national security team have been working together very well. If you look at how much safer the United States of America is because of the leadership of this team.
Oh, it's closed. Thanks for clearing that up. And lastly, as all Trump cultists do when cornered on the details of their sweeping generalizations, they attack the source. She had a complete meltdown as a reporter dared question the criteria the Trump administration uses to detain who they allege to be gang members.
Guide that DHS is using to determine who is an enemy alien, a Tren de Aragua member, and deportable under the Enemy Aliens Act. It has criteria here that require 8 points to be classified as a TDA member. You can get classified by simply having certain symbols in your tattoos and wearing certain streetwear brands. That alone is enough to get someone classified as TDA and sent to El Salvador.
That's not true, actually, Andrew.
According to this document, it is.
No, according to the Department of Homeland Security and the agents, have you talked to the agents who have been putting their lives on the line to detain these foreign terrorists who have been terrorizing our communities? TDA is a vicious gang that has taken the lives of American women. And our agents on the front lines take deporting these people with the utmost seriousness, and there is a litany of criteria that they use to ensure that these individuals qualify as foreign terrorists and to ensure that they qualify for deportation. And the president made it incredibly clear to the American public that there would be a mass deportation campaign of not just foreign terrorists, but also illegal criminal aliens who have been wreaking havoc on American communities. And shame on you and shame on the mainstream media for trying to cover for these individuals who have. This is a vicious gang, Andrew. This is a vicious gang that has taken the lives of American women.
The government filed in court, which says all.
And you said yourself there are 8 criteria on that document.
They need 8 points.
And you are questioning the credibility of these agents who are putting their life on the line to protect your life and the life of everybody in this group and everybody across the country. And their credibility should be questioned. They finally have a president who is allowing them to do their jobs, and God bless them for doing it.
Yeah, shame on you, reporter, for citing.
At this point, it's almost comical how predictable this administration is. The economy is burning down, but instead of taking responsibility, they throw smoke bombs and hope nobody notices. Gaslighting 101. They're blaming past administrations, foreign countries, even the media, anyone but themselves. But here's the truth. These policies were their choice, their mess, and now their disaster. And the numbers don't lie. When even Fox News, Trump's usual echo chamber, is forced to admit the economy is in shambles, you know it's bad. So what's the game plan? More spin, more distractions, and when all else fails, play the victim. Classic.
Literal DHS federal government documents on the matter. And listen, this, as we've seen during Trump's last administration, is a telltale sign of an administration failing to live up to their promises, the expectations they set, and the standards they're supposed to uphold. But come on, don't make me laugh. And I'm not denying that she has an impossible job here, one she took willingly, by the way. And of course, when pressed on why she continues to attack sources rather than answer questions on the administration's failures, she then plays the victim, which, if anyone was willing to bet, the odds in Vegas would have been pretty poor, because it's conservatives, they're silencing me 101. Between the signal disaster, the market in disarray, and now talk of a third term, which they're not exactly downplaying.
Used to potentially run for a third term, as he said, there are methods there.
Look, you guys continue to ask the president this question about a third term, and then he answers honestly and candidly with a smile, and then everybody here melts down about his answer. The president was talked about this last night on the plane. He said, it's not really something we're thinking about. He has 4 years. There's a lot of work to do. We've done a lot in these nearly first 100 days, and the American...
So as you know, Caroline, the president a couple of times over the last few days has floated this idea of a third term, which the 22nd Amendment doesn't allow, but he's certainly talking about it. He talked to NBC News about it, and then he was asked about it on Air Force One on the way back from Mar-a-Lago last night. Listen here.
I don't want to talk about a third term now, because no matter how you look at it, we got a long time to go. We have a long time. You know, we have almost 4 years to go, and that's a long time. But despite that, so many people are saying, you've got to run again. They love the job we're doing. Most importantly, they love the job we're doing.
Now, of course, the 22nd Amendment was passed in the wake of 4 terms of Franklin Roosevelt's presidency. It was Republicans who pushed it in the first place, saying that'll never happen again. It took just over 3 years to pass and ratify that amendment. So if the president hopes to change it, it would seem to me time is running out already.
Well, it's funny to me that journalists ask the president this question, he gives an honest and candid answer, and then they spiral about his answer. He was asked this, and you heard him, and he's right. People love the job this president is doing. And as he said, we are focused on this term. We have 4 more years to go, and look at what the president has done in more than 60 days.
It's indicative of an administration in way over its head, ran by the most incompetent and reckless people imaginable.
Because of how incredibly sloppy they are, a German newspaper, Der Spiegel, was able to find personal email addresses, phone numbers and passwords, some of which seem to be still in use for Mike Waltz, Tulsi Gabbard, and Pete Hegseth. What a group. We have a national security advisor who doesn't know how to secure, a defensive secretary of defense, a pro-measles secretary of health, and a secretary of education who wants to close the Department of Education. But what White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, she's standing firm. She said today the administration has been incredibly transparent about this entire situation. Yeah, that's the problem. They've been so transparent. We've seen all their information.
So it's no wonder that even Fox News can't coddle the failures.
So much woo, folks. This is a tough way to end the week if you're long the market. If you're long gold, you're happy, but Dow is losing about 724, the S&P down 113, the NASDAQ down 484. That will do it for us.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Kudlow. I'm Larry Kudlow. So markets crash over 700 points today after a bad inflation report, more tariff confusion. Oh, and by the way, Republicans really going to raise taxes? That could have done it. If this is true, this would be among the top 3 dumbest things I've ever heard.
This press conference was a masterclass in deflection, projection, and pure nonsense. From blaming everyone else for their economic disaster to pushing dangerous policies and floating a third term as a casual joke, this administration is showing just how reckless and incompetent they are. And even their usual cheerleaders at Fox News can't cover for them anymore. The way this administration is going, this isn't the last disaster press conference we'll see. The market's crumbling, scandals are piling up, and the gaslighting is getting more desperate by the day. If you thought this was bad, just wait until they try to explain the next catastrophe. Buckle up, folks. This disaster is only getting worse.